Chapter 6, Confusion and Anger, the storm that wore a child's face. It begins not with chaos, but with a sound so quiet it feels like a mistake, a misplaced breath where there should be silence. You're used to noise here, the kind that demands attention, screams that rattle the walls, whispers that crawl under your skin. But this is different, softer, thinner. A whimper so small it doesn't even try to be heard. You follow it. Not because you believe it will save you, but because for once something in this place isn't demanding you to break. It's the first thing you've encountered that doesn't posture or accuse. It just is. And that makes it worth hearing. The room responds to your steps, not with resistance, but with something deeper, like the breath of a space that forgot it was alive. The floor doesn't shake, but it shifts, as if the weight of being witnessed is enough to make it remember how to move again. You walk without speaking. Not because you fear a response, but because you don't want to disrupt whatever fragile truth might be waiting at the end of the sound. And then you see it. A child in the corner, hunched. Not hiding exactly, but folding in on itself. Knees pulled to chest, arms wrapped tight. Shoulders trembling, not from cold, but from the effort of staying unseen. It doesn't look at you. It doesn't reach for you. It cries into itself, and the sound hurts in a way nothing else in the room ever has. Not because it's loud, but because it reminds you of something you've never said aloud. You remember being that small, maybe not in body, but in feeling, hoping no one would come, because being seen meant being disappointing, and being disappointing meant being left. You kneel beside the child slowly, without the illusion of fixing anything, without the arrogance of rescue. You're just there. You open your mouth to speak and nothing comes out. Not because you're afraid, but because you know sound might shatter this moment. So you sit and you wait. And eventually the child lifts its head. You see your own face. Not similar, not familiar, identical. Your own eyes, wide with a fear too old for a child. Your own mouth, open not to scream, but to release the pressure that's been building since the first time you were told to be strong. And then it shifts. The face contorts, the limbs extend, the ribs press outward like they're trying to escape their cage. The scream that follows isn't one of pain, it's one of transformation. You fall back not from fear but from instinct. The child is gone, and in its place stands anger. It doesn't yell, it seethes, it doesn't charge, it paces slowly. Like it's dragging every wound it's ever been denied the chance to express. Anger doesn't use language, it speaks in memories, projected onto the walls. Scenes you thought you buried resurface in flashes, the times you lashed out, the moments you chose silence because speaking felt like setting the house on fire, the things you said when you thought rage would protect you from shame. You try to look away, but your body refuses the command. You're locked in, and anger is circling, wearing your voice like a glitching tape player looping back the worst of you on repeat. And then it leans in, close enough to feel its heat, and it whispers, "They made you this way." And for a second you believe it because it's easier to blame than to break. It would be a relief to scream back, to name names, to start the fire again. But you don't. You stay quiet. And that's what undoes it. Anger doesn't thrive on silence. It feeds on permission. And without yours, it collapses, it convulses, it shrinks, and slowly it folds back into the shape of the child. Confusion returns, and you understand finally and fully that they are the same. That this wasn't rage, this was fear that was never given a name. This isn't something trying to scare you. This is something that was never allowed to be scared, so it became something else. Something louder, something harder to ignore. You don't tell it everything will be okay. Because you don't know that. You don't run, because it's not a threat. You sit, and this time it doesn't flinch. It weeps, and so do you. Not because you've lost, but because you've remembered what needed to be seen. Some wounds scream, others just ask quietly, why didn't they love me the way I needed? You think it might end here, and maybe part of it does, but the silence doesn't last. Something beyond the quiet has already stirred. Something has been recording, waiting, and now it's ready. You're not alone anymore. Because even here, especially here, something has been watching, and it's about to press play.